I had a really busy year last year, which was great. You know, it's the release of my second album, The Sea, and we spent most of the year touring. I really felt like it was a live record. It was mostly recorded live. It was kind of written in a unmeditated way, so I was a lot of the time just sort of sitting with my guitar, and the you know, the ideas were just sort of coming. So the whole thing felt really sort of fluid. It had a lot of movement in it, and I felt that was really important in our live performance, that we maintained that we sort of captured that, and we sort of engaged with all these different audiences. So I wanted to promote it in an old-fashioned way of going and doing loads of gigs. We did loads of really small gigs, and we did some big gigs as well. We played at Glastonbury in front of like tens of thousands of people, and we played in tiny little venues in New York. We played in Joe's Pub, and but we were back to New York. We were in LA a lot. We toured the whole of America over the summer. We played at Coachella. That was amazing. We played at Red Rocks. I remember that with Norah Jones, and it was this crazy night where the rain was lashing the stage that we couldn't play. The last song was taken out because it was thunder and lightning, and we're just in this area completely exposed to nature, and so that was great. But yeah, we toured all over the world. We played for the first time in Southeast Asia, so we did a great gig in Korea that I enjoyed, and we played in Japan, and we're going back there this March. We played in Brazil and Argentina for the first time, and all over Europe. So it was a year really of playing the sea, for me, of sort of coming back into, I guess, sort of, you know, public life, and working, playing music. I felt like we're really strong as a band. I was working with a band of people I know really well, and I felt like we all spark with each other well, and it was this good mixture of sort of the soul, jazz side of what I do, and the sort of indie guitar-based side of what I do. So yeah, I had a really, really good year, and it's nice to really reflect on it from this vantage point about all the amazing places we went to, you know, playing the St. Lucia Jazz Festival, and playing in lots of outdoor venues that I never thought I'd get to see. So yeah, 2010 was a really good year for me. Well, there was a lot. It was really great to play at the White House. I played at this event for Paul McCartney where he was being inducted into this music prize. It was the Gershwin Prize for Songwriting. And I think there's only been one person ever win it before. It's a reasonably new prize. It's set up by the Library of Congress. But that was amazing. Just being at the White House and being able to meet the president, a sort of president that I guess we've watched in the UK, and I was a big supporter of, you know, someone who was so keen to talk about change and campaigning for change, and someone who united so many different groups and factions in American culture. So it was amazing to meet him and his family, but also to play with Paul McCartney for the first time, to be invited there, along with some of his favourite musicians, who also turned out to be some of my favourite musicians, you know, Herbie Hancock and Stevie Wonder and Elvis Costello and Jack White and Dave Grohl. And so that was amazing, being in the rehearsals for that, and sitting in this room in the White House where all the paintings had been covered up and all these lights had been strung up. But we're just watching, you know, these bands rehearse, Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney rehearsing and deciding who should do which harmony part, and Stevie Wonder playing We Can Work It Out, which is a song that I've loved, you know, since I was about 16 or something. So that was a really big highlight, I guess. But there has been tons. I've especially enjoyed playing outdoors this year, and just being. I feel like the record is really elemental and sort of noisy and chaotic, and so it really suited being out under the stars. And so yeah, I think doing the gigs has been the biggest part of the year, and seeing how people respond to them, talking to people afterwards, or that thing when people stop you on the street and say that the music you make has an impact on them. You know, that's always a really big thing for me. I wanna know. I learned a lot of things from working with the people that I chose to be in the band with. A lot of them I've been fans of since I was about 16. Our drummer is called Luke Flowers, and he plays with the Cinematic Orchestra. And it was great actually to tour around the world and find that a lot of the people that came to see us were fans of his as well. So we'd have often sort of like budding drummers in the front row, or established drummers who were like really big fans of his, who were watching his every movement. But that's kind of why we've got him at the side of the stage. We need to see each other for our timing, but I think Luke has an impact on what I do, and I affect what he does. So I feel like it's a conversation between the drumming and the singing in the band. So I love playing with him. Our MD and the piano player of the band is called Steve Brown, and he's the person who I co-produced The Sea with, and he's been a massive help to me in bringing that music forward, and I would really like to work with him again on my next record. So yeah, he's a really sort of interpretive musician, and he's a great arranger, and I feel that like there's a lot of heart in the band. I feel like every time we played the songs it was different, and we were really open to the sort of atmosphere of the audience, really responsive, and I felt like we were never faking it. I don't like to go and see gigs where it's kind of the same every single time and you feel like you could just be any audience. I like when you feel like it's a dialogue, and I definitely felt that with this band. So we have Luke and Steve, and then our guitarist is called John McCallum, and he had a big role in singing in the band. He sings the lead on Que Sera Sera, which we finished a lot of the shows with, and he's someone I'm a massive fan of. I'm just in the process of recording his EP. He's a great songwriter and singer, so I was really excited for him to be in the band and to be part of this journey, going around so many places, introducing people to the sea. The other guitarist in the band is called Jennifer Birch, and she was in my indie band with me. She was in this band called Helen. I've known her for years. She's my best friend. So it was really great to be in that band and be able to sort of turn around to her and think of the journey that we've been on together, going from playing in these little tiny clubs to our friends and family and a few people that were just starting to get into the band to actually playing on these huge stages all over the world, getting to play Glastonbury. And it was good to share that with her, to be able to turn around and have people who are thinking the same thing you're thinking. And then last but not least, our bass player is Kenny Higgins, who I met in a gospel band. The first time I saw him, he came to our church and he was playing with this great sort of gospel choir, and I was really impressed by him, and then sort of kept seeing his face in various venues, and I was really pleased that he was able to do the gig as well. He's got a real soulful feel on the bass. He can play anything. He's got an amazing ear. He actually plays guitar really well as well, annoyingly. So so it was a good band. I felt like sometimes I felt like the weakest link in that band. They're just all brilliant musicians, so I felt like they sort of made me work harder and do better because I was sort of trying to keep up with them in some ways. But yeah, it was a great band to be part of, and I feel like I had the best of both worlds because it was a solo record that I had written, and I felt like it was my direction, but also I felt I had all the benefit of working with a band, working with people who I knew well, whose musicianship I really sort of admired and trusted. So yeah, it's best of both worlds for me. 'Cause Jah provides and this love is. I think the main thing that I've learned about myself in the last 12 months is sort of how much I love doing this work. I really enjoy all the parts of it. I loved writing the record. I love recording. I had a good experience recording the Love EP where I was really able to be quite detached from the songs because I hadn't written the songs. I was able to sort of see myself as a performer and also as a producer, and I feel like I almost don't get to do that when I'm making my own records. I think so much of myself as a songwriter, and I'm really like lost in the songs. So I feel like I took a lot from the recording of the Love EP, and I'm looking forward to incorporating what I learned from that into making my new album. But yeah, I felt like I really appreciated the thing of being an artist and connecting with people and meeting so many more musicians. This year I just found myself at events I wouldn't have expected to be at, being at the White House with Paul McCartney, watching Prince in Abu Dhabi, going to Kanye West's album launch. I didn't expect to be at that, and it's just crazy the people you end up speaking to, and you find out that they've heard of you, and the conversations you get into, you know, music's been like this great ticket that's taken me around the world. So I think the thing that I've experienced most in 2010 is just sort of gratitude.